Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Converse All-Star BB Jet. This shoe is going for 110 bucks, so if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones. And as far as the traction goes, when I first got it, on my first impression, I thought it was terrible. Trying it on my wood floors, it was not sticking very well. But then, I went to the court and I tried it out, and it was just a pleasant surprise. It actually has a very good bite. Just give it a little bit of time to break it. I feel like it took me like a day or two to break it in, but once I did, it has a solid bite. On a clean court, you're gonna get a very good bite. If you're playing on a dusty court, just watch out. It does pick up a good amount of dust and you're gonna be wiping pretty frequently, but once you wipe, you're gonna have very good stops again. As far as the durability goes, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, there is like different tread on it. Most of the tread feels pretty hard. The rubber feels hard. The grooves are quite thick, I would say, besides I guess on like the lateral side of the shoe here. So I feel like durability on an outdoor court isn't going to be the best, but I feel like it'll be pretty good. So overall, I was pleasantly surprised. The traction is like overall very good. Here in the middle of the outsole, we can see the Converse speed plate, and it's made of fiberglass. And I guess we'll segue right into heel to toe transition, and it felt a little stiff. The overall shoe feels very rigid. I feel like it's because of this fiberglass speed plate. And the overall shape of the sole is very nice though. Like here in the heel, it's very curved, which feels great. Also, it's an exposed midsole, right? Here in the forefoot, we have a pretty curved shape as well. But here in the forefoot, there's really no bend. It's weird, right? So in the forefoot, I try to bend the shoe. There's not a whole lot of bend, but when I try to bend it, it's more in like the midfoot, like where the speed plate is, which is weird, right? And that's not good for torsional support. And I definitely felt my foot hurting, like my fascia, and I guess like my arch, especially in my right foot hurting when I was playing in the shoe, as opposed to, when I was playing in like my Jordan 36 or the KD 14, which has good arch support. So if you have any problems with that, you have like weak arches, then you should definitely watch out. And like I said, the overall shape and everything feels pretty smooth. And I guess like out of the first step, you kind of feel a little bit of a springy step a little bit. But it just felt kind of weird because it's like pretty rigid, especially the sole. And it did break in though. At first it was really rigid, and I absolutely hated playing in it because of how that felt. But I kept playing it and broke it a little bit. I felt like it was getting a little bit more like flexible, but a little bit more flexible than stiff still isn't that flexible. And also, I didn't really like it as much, especially comparing to like, shoes that are more flexible, like the Curry 8 or the KD 14. So the overall heel to toe transition, I guess, is pretty good. It's not like super clunky or anything, but the overall feeling of how stiff this shoe feels just isn't the best, All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So we got foam, and then somewhere in here, there's supposed to be a zoom unit, which I couldn't really feel a zoom unit, so there's that. And as far as the foam goes, it feels like there's a little bit of compression here, in the heel, but the stepping comfort is just so bad in this shoe that it doesn't feel very nice, right? So here in the insole is okay. I would say it's probably just a regular Ortholite insole. It kind of moderately improves the stepping comfort, but once that bottoms out, and it bottoms out very easily, you get a very extremely rock solid, very stiff strobo board. And especially in the heel, when I'm landing, it hurt my feet a lot. No matter how good or how much compression there is from the midsole, if what your foot is going into is just rock solid strobo board, it's just not gonna feel very nice, right? So stepping comfort was terrible. Zoom unit, not very prevalent. I guess court feel was okay. Impact protection was terrible because of how stiff the strobo board was. So yeah, the cushioning setup was actually very bad. And that's coming from someone that likes a responsive cushioning setup. I actually liked the cushioning setup in the, well, I don't like it, but I don't mind the cushioning setup in the Giannis Immortality, which is like, there's nothing, it's just foam. You know what I mean? So yeah, this was pretty bad. Yeah, so there's the cushioning setup there. As far as the materials go, material is not that bad. It's pretty much a mesh material. It's okay. The quality isn't bad, I guess. The fuse definitely does feel a little cheap, but that's okay. It's only 110 bucks. and it pretty much stays this mesh material. It's not the thinnest though, there definitely is a little bit of like foam in there, so it feels a little cozy, which I guess does improve the comfort. But in my personal preference, I like to have like a thinner material. Coming here into the tongue, we have an average amount of padding, and then in the ankle area we have actually not a whole lot of padding, but it reminds me of the Why Not 0.3 where there's like another layer of material underneath. I don't know why you would do this. There's no point in doing this. Why would you do this? And like, it makes the overall material feel so much bulkier than it should. Just add a little bit more foam, you know what I mean, instead of this like completely different layer of material, you know. But so yeah, I mean, overall I guess like the material felt pretty nice, you know. On foot it wasn't bad, it felt comfortable, it conformed to your foot, it wasn't stiff, you don't really have to break it in. Just here in the ankle area it felt like a little bit bulkier, but the overall feeling of the material is just like, I guess like it's not crazy thick, but I would have liked it to be a little bit thinner, just in my personal preference. But like I said, it's not terrible. It's just me nitpicking it at that point. All right, moving on to the fit. The fit for me was okay, you know. So for length, I was good. I mean, there's a little bit of length, but it's not terrible. I feel like true to size will be good for most people. As far as the width goes, I would say it's just a tiny bit narrow. I definitely felt my foot being squeezed a little bit here on the side. But one thing I hated about the fit is a crazy roomy toe box, and yeah, it just feels really bad. That's just my personal preference, you know. I like to have a very snug toe box, which this shoe isn't. And I feel like some people, they're not gonna mind it, and some people, they'll actually like it. But obviously that's very subjective. But for me, I really didn't like the fit here in the toe box. And I guess kind of going into containment and like lockdown, my foot would move around in the shoe a lot because of the extra roomy toe box, right? And like, you know, tightening down the laces definitely does help, but choking my foot out and restricting the blood flow to my foot definitely is not something that I want to do just for like a little bit of extra lockdown, you know? So my foot would definitely move around inside of the shoe and go like this in the toe box, which obviously didn't feel too good. So for me, I mean, everything like the length and the width was good, but for me personally, I wish it was a little bit more snug. As far as the support and lockdown goes, I would say it was really good. You know, support, I mean, this shoe is definitely a very supportive shoe. Here on the lateral side, we actually have this like fused material, which stiffens up the material a good amount here in the forefoot. And then here in the heel, we have the foam coming up as well as an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, my foot was contained inside of the footbed of the shoe. But like I said, because of the extra roomy fit here in the toe box, my foot was moving around a little bit inside of the shoe. As for lateral stability, I didn't really have any issues. You know, it's not crazy wide, but I don't think it's super narrow. I guess the midsole does protrude out just a tiny bit. But you know, like I said, lateral stability seemed pretty good in this shoe. All right, as far as the weight goes, I feel like it's, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit heavier than average, maybe like 13 ounces. Oh, okay, so 12.7 ounces, really? What? And then the 12.49 ounces. Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference in weight there. 0.2 ounces, not a huge difference. But anyways, that's around average weight. And this shoe does not feel average weight for me. I feel like I know what it is. It's probably because of the sloppy fit and also because of how rigid the shoe feels. It doesn't feel like super fluid, like I said, because of probably this plate, right? So I'm guessing because of that, I mean, it didn't feel crazy like fluid, and also like how I want a shoe to feel, you know, like in the KD14, the Giannis Immortality, the Curry 8, where it just feels very fluid, very smooth. That's not this shoe, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's bad or anything, it's just my personal preference, and there's definitely people that will probably like or not mind that feeling, you know. Like I said, I don't really like it. I feel like, you know, weight, the actual number of the weight isn't as important as how the shoe feels. You know what I mean? Like a shoe can feel bulky or stiff, and I feel like that'll affect the overall feeling more than the actual number weight of the shoe. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah. I mean, I guess it does feel pretty responsive though. You know, the traction's good, cushion's responsive and stuff like that. It's a supportive shoe as well. I didn't really like the overall feeling of the shoe when I was playing in it. All right, as far as the ventilation goes, it was kind of warm. There's just a tiny bit of airflow through this mesh material, but like I said, it's a little bit thicker, so it doesn't allow for like that much airflow. So as far as the overall ventilation goes, it's on the warmer side. Moving on to the aesthetics, I like it. I guess it's a pretty clean, pretty cool looking silhouette. I just don't like, I like this colorway. I just don't like that it says Boom Shakalaka. I feel like that's pretty cheesy, but other than that, I like the overall silhouette and the overall colorway of this shoe. Tell us your thoughts on the silhouette down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, if you guys couldn't tell from this review, I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, I definitely don't think it's as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought the traction was going to be pretty bad, but you know, I was pleasantly surprised at the traction. Traction was pretty good. So like, who would I think would enjoy this shoe? Well, if you're a guard and you like a very smooth and very fluid and very lightweight feeling shoe like me, then definitely stay away from the shoe. If you want something very supportive and you like a roomier toe box, then this probably is a good option. So I'm guessing, you know, someone like a bigger guy would probably enjoy it. I feel like Draymond Green is gonna wear this shoe, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy because Converse has the All-Star Pro BB, you know, and which is extremely just like on the opposite end of the spectrum. You know, it's just really, really different. So anyways, yeah, in my personal experience, when I was playing it, I did not like the shoe that much. Like I said, there's probably going to be a few people that enjoy it, but in my opinion, it's not the greatest feeling shoe. But anyways, that about concludes this review. If you guys do want to get it, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.